It is game day in Iowa City, and look who is at Kinnick Stadium right now with his son, the one and only Ross Peterson. How's the day been so far, buddy?
I can't hear a word you're saying, dude, but we're excited. We're getting ready to go in. We're in line, having fun. We went to Big Noon kickoff. That was awesome. Excited, man. Really excited. I'm gonna let you go, though, because we're in a group here, okay?
All right, buddy. You be safe.
Talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, you be safe. That's Ross Peterson. I tell you what, he's having a blast in Iowa City. He's taking his son, I believe it's the first father-son experience for Ross at Kinnick Stadium, and they got over there early this morning, took in Big Noon kickoff, which is still going on Fox, by the way. But it is a busy, busy day in Iowa City and a big game for the Hawks as they take on number 4 Michigan. This is going to be a test, not just for Iowa as a whole, but really that Iowa defense. Michigan comes into this game averaging 50 points a game. 50 points a game. They were held to a season low last week against Maryland when they only scored 34. Now, we know the Iowa defense does not give up many points. In fact, the number 1 scoring defense in the country. So something's going to have to give today. I put a Twitter poll up on our Twitter handle, which is WHO Sound Off, and it's going to go for like another 10 minutes or so. But how many turnovers does the Iowa defense have to force today in order to get a win over Michigan? And the majority of people are saying at least 2, but the strong, looking at 80% of the vote coming in between 2 and 3 or more. And that's just going to have to be the case, right? Because Iowa's defense is going to be the one to keep this team in it, because the offense is just not built to go on a 50-point spree like Michigan is capable of doing. Iowa offensively showed improvement last week against Rutgers. We know that. And but I think the biggest improvement we've seen in the last 2 weeks from the offense is not being able to really rack up yards, but the Iowa offense has not turned the ball over the last 2 games. That is absolutely huge. If Spencer Petras throws a pick, or if the running backs put the ball on the ground today, it could be disastrous for Iowa, because Iowa's still last in the nation. Again, dead last in total offense, and its scoring offense is not much better either, all right? We have to accept the fact that this Iowa offense is not very good. It's not, and you can't sugarcoat it in any way. Now, can it be productive? Absolutely. All 3 running backs are healthy today, the 2 Williams, and, of course, Caleb Johnson, who I think is really coming into his own and can be a difference maker. Keegan Johnson still out on the wide receiver end, which hurts Iowa offensively, just makes it really thin when it comes to the depth and being able to find offensive production. The battle is well known, right? The last time Michigan was at Kinnick Stadium, 2016, Iowa won on the field goal. And the truth is, Kirk Ferentz is pretty darn good against top 5 teams at Kinnick Stadium. 5-3 all time. He's won 5 of his last 6 against teams ranked in the top 5 heading into Kinnick Stadium. This is just an exciting game. The stadium is going to be striped, and it has that big game feel to it. I think Fox Big Noon kickoff being there adds a little bit to it. So, here's what's coming up. The game's going to kick off just after 11 o'clock. You can listen to it on News Radio 1040 WHO. After the game, here's what's going to happen. Andrew Downs is going to be in the studio with me for like the first half hour. Ross is watching the game with his son. They're going to hop in the car and try to get back here for the last 2 hours of Sound Off, which is scheduled to start right at 4 o'clock. So the game kicks off at 11. Post game from Learfield. And then the Jethro's Barbecue Sound-Off scheduled to take place from 4 o'clock until 7 o'clock tonight. Here's John says, listen, defense needs to score 14 to have a chance. Yeah, you might be right on that. I'm not going to deny that not only do they have to force turnovers, that Iowa defense is probably going to have to score if they would even want to hang with Michigan, which is a repeat of last year's Big Ten championship game in which Michigan steamrolled the Hawks. We know how that started going downhill quickly for Iowa. So it's the matchup we've been waiting for. This is the first, I think, real good defensive test that Michigan is going to face. And it's going to be another test of that Iowa offense to see if they can move their ball against a pretty stout Michigan defense as well. Not only is Michigan pretty good offensively, the Wolverines have a pretty stout defense. But again, their competition hasn't been great. this will be the best defense that Michigan has played all season long. The Hawks are going to need a break, whether that comes in the form of turnovers or special teams, but they're going to need to catch a couple breaks in those intangibles and the things you can't predict. If it's straight up, Michigan wins the game, right? If nobody turns the ball over, if there's no stupid penalties, no major special teams errors, Michigan's going to win this game straight up. I would need some help defensively, getting some turnovers, scoring on defense, and maybe a big special teams play as well. It's number 4 Michigan. It's the Iowa Hawkeyes. The stadium's going to be striped. You can listen to the game on News Radio 1040 WHO, and don't forget to listen to the Jethro's Barbecue Sound-Off after the game on News Radio 1040 WHO. I'm Travis Justice. We'll see you at halftime.